That's something from Echomatica's long-awaited debut album. The Auckland-based quartet has been together for 7 years and has finally released their self-titled debut album. Here are 3/4 of Echomatica, Charlie, Matt, and Scott, to tell you a bit about themselves.
Looking back to catch your eye.
The band formed from me and Matt and AJ. We'd worked in lots of other bands before. We started off as a acoustic covers band, actually, that were doing covers of indie songs, but making them even more sad. We called ourselves the Miserableists.
Okay.
Decided that was probably a name that wasn't going to get us many gigs. And then also around that time, we met Charlie, who came on board as our vocalist, and that's when we started composing our own music and stepping things up to the next level, as it were.
No, cool.
Yeah, so we've been together as kind of a foursome for about 7 years now, and we stayed doing the covers for quite a while, and I think that's kind of, we really were able to sort of figure out our sound and where all of our influences overlap, so that when we sort of started writing together, we just kind of knew how we all fit together.
Right. All right. And so did you talk about what kind of sound that you wanted to have once you were kind of moving away from the covers and to your own material?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say fairly kind of synth heavy, so it's got that sort of synth dream pop kind of indie
Right.
electronica kind of sound. Yeah, we've sort of moved on from being purely miserable, and I think there's at least 3 quite happy songs on the album.
All right. Because it sounds like you might have been listening to maybe a little bit of Portishead or Massive Attack or stuff like that. Would that be accurate?
I auditioned for them all with Roads by Portishead, so it's one that near and dear to me, because I think it's what sealed the deal for me. So that's
Okay.
how I get to hang out with these guys.
Very nice. Well, that's nice. And how does the songwriting work? Do you guys write individually, together? Who does what?
Yes, Alan will really kind of program all the synth side of things, and he'll often come in with kind of an idea of structurally how he wants that to be. But a lot of it is, we'll bring it into practice, and, they'll play around and experiment, and then, I can sort of listen and I guess decide in my head where I kind of, what emotions it brings out. But it's, it's fairly collaborative. Yeah, I kind of I throw ideas out, and if they don't get a reaction, I keep going, and if they go, oh, then I'm like, all right, well, we'll keep that.
All right. So
from a guitar point of view, we have very massive pedal boards.
okay.
So we've got like access to a multitude of different effects that we kind of play around with. And then Scott will bring the thunderous bass, and then we kind of see how. Yeah, we spend a lot of time in rehearsal rooms, kind of, as Charlie said, just working on how we think the song should sound, and often I get told to turn down too loud. But yeah, it's a combination of all 4 of us, just experimenting until we come up with the final mix.
All right. So the album starts with a tune called Breathe, which is also a Pink Floyd tune, but it's probably not anywhere related to that. But why is that the opening? Why have you decided? It kind of builds up over the 6 minutes that it takes to get to where it goes.
We always viewed it as an album outro, and
Okay.
we sort of viewed it more as like an outro, sort of getting back into the day to day. But we had a gig and we played it first. I don't remember why, but we found that, I think because it builds quite slowly, that it just sort of grabbed everyone's attention, and you could see people kind of like settling down and being quite curious. So we sort of flipped it on its head. And also Alan had a list from George Martin of what order everything should be.
Sorry, our guitarist had sourced the George Martin track listing master, so exactly how you should put your album together, so that it would be, just so.
Okay,
Not that we believe that we have as many hits as the Beatles, but
we got to start
we did
somewhere,
like
right?
we like starting a journey with it.
Yeah. George says the first track should be the tone setter. So
Okay,
we were like, well, if George says.
all righty, very good. And it's followed by Heartbeat. So tell me how that one came together.
Was the first one that we wrote together. I mean, you two can speak more to the vibe.
It sort of started with that opening guitar riff,
Right.
and then we kind of built the song from there. I mean, you would have heard that Charlie cuts loose on a lot of those high notes in this one,
Yep.
which just makes us want to play more music together. And so yeah, it's definitely a different tempo to the opening track, but as once the listener kicks into the second song, we sort of really start to sort of showcase the different sounds and the different.
Gotcha.
I think Heartbeat is probably the first one where in the rehearsal room we came together and everyone was looking at each other with, got the tingles. Something's happening here, especially once Charlie hits that high note, which
Right.
is just sublime in my opinion.
Very good. And recording wise, were you in a studio? Are you doing this out of your homes? What's the scenario there?
We were, it was during the COVID years.
Right. Yeah.
So because we still had to space out, we had this this little thing that we called the Millennium Falcon, because that's what it looks like, where we could all plug in at a distance. So just have, extra long headphone cables, extra long guitar cables, and still be 2 meters apart.
Right.
And all and all kind of hear each other. So it was it's a weird way to write, and I wouldn't recommend it. But
all right. And jumping ahead, there's a tune called "Month of Sundays," which is kind of grungy sounding almost. What happened there?
That one almost fairly fully formed.
Right.
He was, he's had a real vibe on how he wanted that to be, and it's definitely got that kind of grungier, kind of almost like I would say like Weezer sort of
right.
Weezer feeder feel to it.
Yep.
And I think, maybe because of my age, that put me back to, being a teenager and
right.
Yeah, kind of just reminiscing on what that feels like.
I think on that one, whilst you can tell from the early two songs that we're big fans of shoegaze, we're also hardcore Pixies fans, which I think you can hear on Month of Sundays quite clearly. Yeah.
Yep. Are you going to go see Pixies when they come back here?
I'm going to both.
They're going.
Sunday and the Monday.
You go. That's what we like to see. And so, speaking of live shows, how do your live shows work out? What? Tell me what you try to achieve.
I think we just really like to create that kind of. It's a bit Phil Spectory to say wall of sound, isn't it?
That's all right. Look where it got him.
Great musician, terrible human being. But yeah, I think it's, it's just about creating that really full, full vibe sound. For me, it's any excuse to wear a sparkly jacket, really.
Oh, okay. And what kind of people come out to your shows?
I mean, we've really only started up again. I would say for the past 2 years or so, we've really just been writing.
Right.
And we're just kind of starting to pick up the shows again. So this is really the first time of us going out with our own material. So
Right.
I think the feedback's been really great, and I feel like the crowd's really been with us when we've been playing. So yeah, we're pretty excited.
All right.
The next couple of shows will tell us what our crowd is.
Watch this.
Fair enough.
Tell you soon.
Now I see tomorrow you got your debut single coming out, "Love Isn't Always."
Yes.
Tell me all about it.
Hanging on now, this is mine. Watching hours pass you by. Slips like sand beneath your fingers. Still we try.
Tempo-wise, it's quite sort of down tempo. But then I get to cut loose with like a fuzz-infused lead break towards the end of the song, which it makes that song for me. But yeah, I guess you would have listened to it. It kind of defines the sound that we're trying to create. And as with all songs, Charlie does an amazing job on the vocals. So all around, we came to the decision that this is the one we wanted to put out first. So bring it on.
All right.
Yeah, I think it was one of the ones that came together the easiest. I think once Alan brought it in and, sort of played, he did like a very rough demo of it. And I feel we just all immediately knew what the sound
Right.
was. As soon as I'd heard it, I was like, oh, yeah, I know what the lyrics need to do. And, you definitely knew with the guitar and the bass as well. So it was very, very quick. And we all just sort of were like, yeah, I get it.
I get to play fretless double acoustic bass on it, so I'm very happy with it.
You're just showing off now. Jesus. That's very cool. So I'm assuming that being in this band is not your full-time job and doesn't put the food on the table. Do you have any interesting real jobs that you want to tell me about?
Until recently, I had a pretty cool job in tech where I sort of looked after the workplace experience, which is mostly, throwing parties for fully grown adults.
Oh, geez.
Which was great. They would just give me a really big budget and be like, do fun things. So,
Right.
I decided our summer picnic should be a full-on music festival so that we could play on a
I was going to say, you can book yourself.
But yeah, look, I've got this great band. They're happy to play for free.
There you go.
But a few all kind of come from like education, really, which is very cool.
Oh, yeah. All right.
One of my more interesting past roles was I was the director of alternative education for West Auckland. So never a dull moment in that job, looking after all the young people in the West who were falling out of the education system and trying to find a way back in for them. So yeah.
Right.
Lots of creative problem solving in that one.
Good on you. Good on you. Doing the good deeds. Excellent. And what do you think about the Auckland music scene in general? Do you feel like you're part of something, or are you kind of isolated from everything else? What's your feelings about that?
I think it's been great just getting to know other bands and really kind of like, feeling part of that ecosystem.
Right.
Yeah, I would love to create a different job for myself where I create more live music opportunities in Auckland. I went on kind of a music pilgrimage with my
Right.
stepdad to America, and we sort of hit the blues clubs in like New Orleans and Memphis, and just all of
Cool.
these bars with these amazing musicians, and you know, I missed it when I came back. So I think
Right.
it would be amazing just to have that kind of scene where there's just all of these different things going on one day.
I think one of the positive things for us as far as the Auckland scene was recording at Earwig Studios with Darren McShane,
Okay.
and
Yep.
then getting to play at his birthday that had a lot of the bands that had recorded at Earwig, and so that's why our first gig, we've got Super Turtle and Please Give Blood on the bill with us. So we sort of made those connections through there. But for us, a lot of the time we were kind of beavering away, writing and in the studio. So we're kind of looking forward to being more immersed in the scene than we have been. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And are you writing all the time, or are you just write when you need to feel that there's something that needs to be written?
Pretty much writing all the time.
Oh.
We've kind of hit our straps. We're already talking about the next EP.
Oh, cool.
We're pretty energized about it now. We feel that as we keep writing the songs, that the newer songs are stronger than the older ones, and so we're keen to crack on if people are keen to hear us. Well, actually, we'll do it even if they're not. To be honest.
That's the spirit. Well, it seems like this has been a long time coming. So, does it feel like that to you? And you got some momentum now? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say that's the case. Yeah, I mean, I think I've played in a few bands around the Auckland scene over the years, but it's a tough time being a full time musician.
Yep.
But when you hit a formula that's working really well as a band, and you get that surge of kind of new creativity. I love that wave, and I'm keen to ride it for as long as we can. And I think the rest of the band are too. So, yeah.
Cool. All righty. Well, I think that we covered it. Anything you want to point out about the album before we say goodbye? Is there anything, any song, any sounds, any feels, any vibes that we need to know about?
We're doing a vinyl run, which I think
Oh,
which
great.
we're really, really excited about. So that's being test pressed as we speak at Holiday
Woo-hoo.
Records.
Yeah.
So
We get to have a look at that tomorrow, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
I work around the corner, so I'll be running along to go and see our baby.
That's very exciting. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yep. Yep.
if people tune in and they do, the single go on Spotify on Friday, and most other streaming sites, and the video on YouTube. If people do like what they hear and they want to come along to the gig, we've set ourselves up with a little merch store already because we're so excited about our vinyl. So if people like Echomatica, they'll be able to come out with a souvenir as well.
If you enjoyed this episode of the 13th Floor's Music Talk series, please be sure to subscribe to the website or to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram and wherever you find your podcasts. There's a whole lot more to discover.